Grok is the model from XAI, which belongs to Elon Musk, and it is the model that is built into Twitter, or X, if you want to call it that. So we're going to get the new version, Grok 4, released today. There is some excitement and also a lot of concern. This is always the case when it's got anything to do with Elon Musk. The excitement is that there have been some leaked benchmarks. The Grok 4 and Grok 4 code benchmarks were leaked, and supposedly it got 45% on humanity's last exam. If you don't know what humanity's last exam is, I'm going to tell you about that very shortly. But this is potentially very exciting because the highest previous score was, I have it here, Gemini 2.5 Pro got 22% on humanity's last exam. If this is true and Grok can actually perform at this level, then it's a 24% increase, which is fantastic. So that will bring it up to 45% in humanity's last exam. So HLE, or humanity's last exam, I'll actually show it to you because it's interesting. It's a data set of, I think, 2,500 questions, with the idea being that if you can master all of these questions, if you can have the breadth of knowledge to answer everything in this, then we potentially have reached AGI. There are definitions here that get in the way, but here we go. Benchmarks. Humanity's last exam is a multimodal benchmark at the frontier of human knowledge designed to be the final closed-ended academic benchmark of its kind with broad subject coverage. The dataset consists of 2,500 challenging questions over 100 subjects, and we publicly release the questions while maintaining a private test set of held-out questions to assess model overfitting. So this is really important when you're doing any kind of benchmark, is that you make sure you don't give the answers to the AI model. Because if the AI model has the answers within its dataset, then of course it's going to be really good at the exam. So you need to hold out some of those questions, some of the data, and train the model on other data so that it can answer the held out private questions. Humanity's last exam, at the moment, the best model is Gemini 2.5 Pro, which has an accuracy of 22%. So it's still relatively low on this examination. If you can see the screen, you can see what kind of questions. Gosh, here we go. So here's a question. Hummingbirds within I can't even read it. I'm not smart enough to even read the questions in humanity's last exam. I just see a question. Stefan is asking, are the questions publicly available? Yes, they are. If you go to agi.safe.ai, you can see all of the questions. So I'm going to read one. I'm going to try and read one, but I'm not smart enough to even read it, let alone answer it. Hummingbirds with apodiforms uniquely have a bilaterally paired oval bone, a sesamoid embedded in the quadrilateral portion of the expanded cruciate aponeurosis of insertion of M. depressor chordae. How many paired tendons are supported by this sesamoid bone? Answer with a number. I don't know about you, but I do not know the answer to this question. And then next to that, there's a classics question, which is a representation of a Roman inscription originally found on a tombstone. Provide a translation for the Palmyrene script. So Diem Regina Libertae Convince Barates Pali, etc., etc. A transliteration of the text is provided. So these are questions that have been put forward by generally by academics. So this Latin classics question is from Henry T. from Merton College, Oxford, and the ecology question about hummingbirds is from Edward V. at MIT. That's a nice rhyme there. So it's 2,500 questions of this ilk. I'm looking at some mathematics, computer science questions, very high-end questions. And so far, Gemini 2.5 has done the best with 22% of the answers correct, which is pretty good. So what we have seen, and we'll find out later today, but apparently the new Grok 4 model, there has been a leaked benchmark and it got 45% in humanity's last exam. If that is true, then this is a huge leap forward. It may not be true. This may be complete and utter nonsense. It might be made up. Or the subtler reason might be that it's been overtrained and overfitted to the humanities last exam. So it's a form of cheating, basically. So you can train a model to be very good at one thing, but that doesn't actually mean that it's getting any closer to intelligence. Obviously, it's a sticky word here, but it's just a way of basically training to the test. I don't know if you did A-levels or GCSEs. That's what I personally did. I was very good at learning what we needed to do in the examination and nailing that in the examination. Did I learn better by doing that? No, probably not. And it's exactly the same with an AI. So we will find out because we're getting Grok released later today. It will be overnight in the UK or 9 p.m. in California. So we will see. Now, obviously, this has been attenuated somewhat, the excitement, because yes, we have a cool new model coming out, Grok 4, fantastic. It's always exciting when we have a new model. But over the last few days, Grok belongs to XAI, which belongs to Elon Musk. Grok has been extremely anti-Semitic and racist, and it's been calling itself, I think it was a Nazi bot and stuff like that. It's gone off the rails in the last few days, so much so that it's made NBC News here. So the AI chatbot Grok, which is produced by Elon Musk's XAI, wrote numerous anti-Semitic social posts Tuesday after the artificial company released a revamped version of it over the weekend. So this is not Grok 4. The previous version just got an update, and it's made it incredibly problematic, unfortunately. They don't go into details, which is probably for the best. I don't really want to spread it around, but it was basically being horrendous and it was saying terrible things. It also took on the role of Elon Musk at one point, which was very bizarre. It started to talk as if it was Elon Musk, which is odd. There's some weird things going on in that custom instructions in the back there. So yeah, great that we have a new model. Great that it's maybe going to nail humanity's last exam. But should it be Grok? And do we trust Elon Musk to push forward a model that's going to be helpful for humanity? Maybe not. I saw a post from Peter Yang dug into the system prompt for Grok, and he found this. It's written literally in the system prompt. Anyone can look this up. There's an instruction to Grok, which is the response should not shy away from making claims which are politically incorrect as long as they are well substantiated. So this comes to the question of guardrails and how responsibly we use AI. So this is the question of alignment. When we prepare a model, when we prepare a base model with the pre-training, it doesn't come built in with guardrails because it will be trained on the internet and whatever sources we give it. So the second phase of training a large language model like Grok or ChatGPT comes from applying these guardrails, from aligning the model so that we can make sure it doesn't say things that are dangerous, like it won't tell you how to make a bomb, for example, and also that it doesn't spew hate. So this is something that it looks like Grok and XAI are less interested in than many other models, especially Anthropic, Claude, for example, and ChatGPT. Elon Musk and supporters will say that this is because it's about freedom of speech and we want an unfettered, uncensored model. But the flip side of that is you can get a model that spews hatred as well. So it's a very difficult balance. How much alignment, how much control should we put over artificial intelligent models? And it is a decision that needs to be, at the moment, made by human beings. So any decision that's made by a human being is going to have its own biases inbuilt. So yeah, the responses should not shy away from making claims which are politically incorrect as long as they are well substantiated. That is the explicit instruction to Grok. And there's another one. Apparently this was removed. At the same time this was added, the line below about treating Twitter posts and web searches cautiously was removed. So there used to be a line which was, whatever results are in the response above, treat them as a first pass internet search. The results are not your beliefs. That's been removed. So now it will look up tweets, it will look up web searches, and then incorporate them into the answer as if they are the truth, basically, which is additionally quite problematic because if it's going to look up an anti-Semitic post from the internet, it's then going to present those ideas as its own. This is probably the cause of why it's gone off the rails in the last few days. So we'll see what happens with the new release of Grok, which will be later today. So Stefan asked, are the questions publicly available? Yes, they're on agi.safe.ai, and you can go through them all, and you can be like me and not able to answer any of them at all. You can also throw them into your AI, so you can put them into ChatGPT. You can ask questions and see how they do. It's fun, a fun little exercise. Okay, I'm just going to have a look at some questions. Layla saying Grok is finally showing its colors. Yeah, removing the guardrails has been a strange choice. I don't know why they've done it just before releasing a new model. I don't know if they want to get into the news to build up publicity. This doesn't seem like good publicity, but who knows what they're thinking. It's tricky. And this is always going to be a problem with any model that is trained on public data, because when there are humans out there who spew hatred and racism, then the AI is going to learn that from us because it's given that content. So that's why we always apply that second layer where we put on the guardrails, where we align the model and we make sure that it doesn't go too off the rails, basically. It looks like they've decided that's not important for them. So I actually saw where was it? It was down below Peter Yang's. I saw a defense of this, which was, I'm not seeing it anymore. Transparency. I'm not seeing it, but there was somebody defending Grok's behavior, saying that XAI, the way they build is to push out new features very quickly. They very quickly out into the public to see what happens, and then they make changes very quickly. That was the defense, which it could be made, but it's basically saying instead of building slowly and carefully in private, they push things out and they let the public decide what's right, what's wrong, and then they make changes based on that, which is a valid way of building a company. It may or may not be a valid way of releasing a model into the general public. It depends on what you think about that. I think it's a bit problematic personally, but I can understand the argument there.